Oh, welcome back to Tea with Peggy. I'm so glad you're here because I want to tell you about that third person in the triumvirate that I think is going to save our democracy. And that'd be a fellow named Chuck Schumer, Charles Schumer, but he uses Chuck. And he comes from my hometown, New York City. He's known for his persistence, that's a New York trait, and resilience, don't push me out of the way, and integrity, which I like to think is a New York quality, but I think it's a nationwide quality too. And most important, he comes with that extra ingredient, experience, although he is younger than both Pelosi and Biden, but I've told you about them before. So let me just tell one story, a little bit about him. He grew up in New York. His father owned a very small business. He went to public schools in New York City, and then he went to Harvard University for his bachelor's and his law degree. He came back to New York and immediately focused on what he planned to do with the rest of his life. He became a member of the New York State Assembly. And then in 1980, he was elected to the House of Representatives, where he stayed until 1998, and then he became a member of the Senate. When he became senator, he told everyone that he would promise to go and visit all 62 counties in New York State. That's impressive because New York State is very, very large and very diverse. And he has visited every one of those 62 counties every year since then. I think that's remarkable right there. So I'm not going to say as much about this anymore because the triumvirate, as important as they are really not able to do anything unless we vote on those who are now being elected to Congress. Now, they're not running for office, these three, but others are. We need to have gun laws that protect us from these terribly huge amount of mass shootings and suicides. And, of course, we need to have an economy where everyone can make a decent living. And we have to make sure that our schools work really well in educating our students, making sure that healthcare is there for everyone, and that we also protect those who are of a certain age who are no longer working and keep Social Security available to them. These are all things that have been threatened by the Republican Party, and we need to keep that in mind. Now, I'd like to go on a little bit further because I want to talk about two heroines. One of them is a person that might surprise you, a Republican. Now, Liz Cheney has a great deal of courage when she stood up to the rest of the Republican Party and said, hey, the emperor has no clothes on. That took a lot of courage. And by the way, the emperor's clothes is a very good story to read to your grandchildren if you haven't already. At any rate, she stood up at great sacrifice. She most likely will not be reelected in Wyoming this time because of her stand. And then Zoe Lofgren, a California Democrat, came up with an election reform act, and she co-sponsored it. Maybe there's hope that we can work with each other across the way, or maybe we'll get really lucky, and maybe she'll run as an independent. I'm no conservative, but I'd be willing to listen to someone who was able to stand up for what was not popular in her own party. And your homework. I almost forgot that. This time I want you to let me know what you think about the propositions wherever you may be, and especially those of you in California, because right now I'm a bit negative about them all. But I think it may be because I'm not informed enough. This is your chance to help inform me and others. I look forward to seeing you again in about a week. Take care. God bless.